So the World Cup begins in 2 days. By the way, I must have to remind you, 2 days. 2 days. I don't get it. I really don't. I cannot believe the World Cup starts in 2 days. I can't. It's fucking freezing. It's minuses in Poland. You're telling me that the World Cup begins in 2 days? I'm sorry. I can't do this. So of course, on YouTube, you're going to be getting a ton of content, not just from me, but from all other YouTubers and content creators alike. And this is a thing that I do on my channel. Why not strategically, quantify every single content creator's predictions, combine everyone's predictions all together and give you guys the all-round total sum of how likely it is that your team will make it through. You may see one guy's World Cup prediction, you may see two, you may see three, but in today's video we've got 20 content creators with their predictions for the World Cup. So if you are a fan of a nation, let's say Canada, for example, you may not really get a real idea of how many people actually back you to do well or to not be bottom of your group. That's where this video will be great to really show you guys what do people actually think about your nation. Of course, tell me down below if you want to join along for the entire groups, then feel free and give me your predictions. Tell me down below because now it is the World Cup period now. It's gonna get quite exciting. But before we do begin, a little shout out from our sponsor. And because today's video is going into everyone's World Cup predictions, that in this video I will also be making my predictions on Pookie throughout the entirety of the World Cup, and you guys can be joining me as well. Pookie is a brand new predictor website that has just launched this second for the World Cup and absolutely free to play. During the World Cup, you make predictions on each game, but with an added twist that you have these balls called either Rookie Balls or Pookie Balls. Each ball has specific bonuses if it's for specific nations, if it's for home teams, away teams, for over 2.5 or lower than 2.5 for goals per game. So for example, I can have Belgium as my choice of team and also Union Berlin, because this will be for all of the top 5 nations by the end of December. Once that is done, you can go and make your predictions, and if you get the most predictions correct, then you go on the leaderboards and you can win tons of prizes. What you can win is match it currency or Pookie Balls with higher rarities. Pookie Balls are not only fundamental for the game, but adds as a fun gimmick to make your experience different to everyone else's, that you can go and specifically choose different bonuses for each game that you predict. Even though the game is free to play, you can win tons of prizes such as a PS5, FIFA 23, or game codes for your specific console. Make sure to click the link at the top of the description to go and sign up to Pookie.gg. And thank you Pookie for sponsoring today's video. Yes lads, Viz has got a spreadsheet out, so therefore you know that is about to go down. So the 20 content creators in this video is of course me. It's my video, so of course I'm going to put myself in there. The other content creators is FNG, Fogdad, Irish Guy, Fogden, Spencer Owen, James Olcott, the What's Good podcast, so Minimin2 and Randolph, Jamie Carragher, he plays enough charity matches to count as a content creator, okay, leave me. Rabona TV, Mark Goldbridge, Macwell, B Ford Lancer, Danny Aarons, H.R. Vizeh, Statman Dave, Stuntspeg, S2G, Peter Crouch, again, he's a podcaster, he's basically a content creator now, and last but not least, the greatest prediction of all, I Show Speed, which is definitely completely serious. So what I've done is that I've took every single content creator's predictions for the World Cup and I've put it all into a very simplified list here with the predictions for the groups, for semi-finals, and of course the winners and the runners-up as well. And with this, I've quantified every single group on how many times did people out of 20 pretty much guess your team and make it out of the group stage. It's pretty simple. I'll start off with my own and I'll kind of scan through each content creator's predictions and kind of highlight any kind of weird shouts. So with me, this is what I went for, to this hand side here, to my left here, and of course the only kind of out there one, I mean there's like 2 or 3 I guess, I mean yeah, there's actually 3 real big ones really. So number 1, I put down that Iran will top the group for Group B, with England second, Wales third, and USA fourth. Now, people have really been confused. I went on a podcast with Dirks about a week ago, and this is how he reacted to that. I think in my prediction, I put Iran top. What? Yeah. I put people don't actually like look into like Iran, and I've been watching them since I was a young boy. I know the Iran team very well. I watched the Iranian First Division many times on Football Manager. Okay.
I genuinely thought you were about to go into a full explanation analysis. The Iranian striker, but this is a gutsy.
I mean, they've got some good players there that are, like Taremi plays for Porto, and I do feel like I don't know, in World Cups, they actually do perform quite well. And even in like the Asia Cups as well. I put Iran first, I put England second. I still think we get... Genuinely, I put England second, and then I put Wales third, and I put USA fourth. I think USA, as you said before, I think they're a team of like individuals and kind of personalities.
But Iran are world class.
I think Iran, genuinely, there's always some madness. We're in a group with Uruguay, us, Italy, and Costa Rica. They were top. So who's to say that can't happen again?
Yeah, but it's Iran.
And I think I'm completely right to say, you know, we were in a group with Costa Rica and Uruguay and Italy, and Costa Rica came top. So, you know, never say never. At Iran, they can realistically beat Wales and USA. I think they can. And with us, they could probably get a draw. And they could be on 7 points. I genuinely believe that could be a thing that could happen. I also put down the fact that France will be grouped. And I'm not the only one that thinks this, by the way. And my only kind of real reasoning to this is because history is on my side, right? No one thought that Germany would be knocked out in the last World Cup in groups. No one thought the same about Spain in 2014. And no one thought about Italy being grouped in 2010. These are all groups that everyone looked at and thought, yes, they're easily going through, and they didn't. So history is on my side. Next up is the boy FNG with the dusty trim, and he's made only really one big shout here, and that is that, because other than that, it's incredibly safe, and that is that he put Canada to get out of the group. Pretty sure maybe 2 other people have put down the same. Very out there of him, really. So for Fog Dad, this is how he predicts the group to go down, and he's gone for, from what I can see, 3 out there shouts. Debatably 4. That is the fact that he thinks that Iran, same as me, will top the group with England coming second. He's also put down Morocco to go through the Group F, which I love Group F because it's such an interesting group to try to predict. And also Ecuador. He also put Ecuador to be ahead in Group A. Irish guy, we all know that his predictions are quite out there, and he's not exactly got the best track record of predictions. But again, most part, it's quite balanced, other than 2. And one's quite a big one. That he has put Japan to go through in Group E, and that means that Germany will get knocked out at the group stage. That is really like, there's only like 2 people I think that's put Japan to go through, maybe 3. But Irish guy, he's backing the Japanese to knock out Germany out of the groups. We've got Fogden, in which he has put Wales to go through in Group B alongside England. He's also put down the likes of Australia to go through in Group D, with France being grouped. Very out there shout, I cannot lie. Australia, I think he's the only person to say that Australia will go for the group. Other than Speed, but Speed doesn't really count, really. Next up is Spencer Owen, and he has gone for, I want to say, most likely the safest predictions you could possibly make. The safest predictions I've seen, but that's fine because that's how he thinks it's going to go down. James Olcott, pretty much the exact same as Spencer Owen, other than the fact that he thinks that Denmark and France will be the other way around. But he also put Morocco to go through for ahead of Croatia, which is also quite an interesting shout. And he's also, by the way, backed England to make it all the way to the World Cup final, and also Belgium in semis. Belgium as well doesn't show up that often. The What's Good podcast with Miniminter and Randolph. I think when I looked at it, the main one really predicting here was really Randolph, to be fair. And we can all see the same thing, right? He put Cameroon to be in the semi-finals. I don't know. I don't know what to say either, to be fair, lad. He put Cameroon second in the group with Switzerland and Serbia and Brazil. Every single person, by the way, put Brazil first. Every single person. 20 out of 20, which is incredible. But that's hard to do. Not even like Speed or Danny Aarons can take the mick with it. Even they put Brazil first, which is incredible. Jeremy Callagher, I mean, that wild specimen, content creator, of course. He went for some relatively safe predictions. The fact that he put Croatia top of the group with Belgium, he put Switzerland to go through, he put Wales to go through with England, and he put Portugal to be in the final and England to be in the semi-finals. You may have realised that I've kind of ignored that pretty much everyone put Argentina or Brazil in the semis or the final. Like, I want to say 18 out of the 20 all had Argentina versus Brazil in the semi-finals. Like, every single person. Rabona TV with some definite out there shouts, I must say, because he put Senegal to top the group with the Netherlands. He put the likes of Croatia to be top of the group with Belgium. He put Spain to be in a World Cup final, but to be runners-up to, of course, Argentina. And he also put Denmark to be in the World Cup semi-final. Some definite out there shouts here. It's Mark Goldbridge time, and these are his predictions here, in which he pretty much went for some quite safe predictions, but he put France to be in the World Cup final and Denmark and Germany in the semis. So quite out there ones that Argentina, for once, isn't showing up in the semis. Macwell, the boy with the 9,000 IQ predictions, and he put England to get grouped. Fair enough. He put Iran top, same as me, by the way. Wales second, and England third, which is definitely a very out there one. He also put Japan to knock out Germany out of the group, so he actually agrees with Irish guy for that prediction. And then in terms of the run-up, he put Serbia to be in a World Cup semi-final with Denmark in the final. So very much out there shouts of Macwell here. B4 Lancer representing the Americans in here as well, and of course he put USA to go through of the groups. And I think the big one here, I mean it definitely is that he put Canada to go through of the groups. And considering he is American, isn't surprising, by the way. But he put Uruguay in the semis alongside Portugal and England in a World Cup final. Of course not winning it. And rare that Brazil is not in the semis or final either, to be fair. Now up next is Danny Aarons. And I'll be honest, I don't know if he took this seriously, because he put Serbia to be in a World Cup final. And I know that he's taking the mickey, but he's done this consistently. It's not just a one-time thing. Each time he does a prediction, he's always got Serbia in the final. Oh yeah, Australia to win the group and France being grouped. You know what? You could take that whatever way you see fit. Number 15 is HR Vizeh here, who has been blown up with his prediction videos in not just the Euros and of the World Cup, but also for the Champions League and so on and so forth. Great content, may I say. And for Vizeh, these are his predictions, and the main out there one is the fact that he put Croatia to top the group, but not just that, but also to make it all the way to the World Cup final. I think it's fair to highlight the fact that he is indeed Croatian, I believe. So take that whatever way you see fit. Statsman Dave in the building, and for his predictions, he's gone for a lot of predictable ones. Not much to really say here, other than the fact that he put England in a World Cup final and Serbia in a World Cup semi-final. Yeah, you've noticed the fact that I don't even mention Argentina and Brazil because they're always there. Stunt Peg now, and of course we need a female representative. So of course Stunt Peg is here repping the woman, and these are her predictions with some very interesting shouts. The main one being the winner. So every single person, if you haven't noticed, had predicted either Brazil or Argentina to win the World Cup. It's very much just how it goes. It's either Brazil, Argentina. It's only those two that people have predicted to win it. But Stunt Peg doesn't care about that. She's put Germany, who I don't think has even showed up for the semi-finals more than once. She's put them to go all the way. And not only them, she's also put the Netherlands to go to the semi-finals. The only person to predict them to go that far. So I gotta say, she's really gonna be out there with her predictions here. She's really backing herself. And because the rest of them, in the groups, they're all very much very, sound. There's no real big out there ones. But yeah, Netherlands in the semis and Germany to win the entire World Cup. She must be very much loved by the Germans. Number 18, we got S2G representing the Korean mode YouTubers, and he has predicted really one big upset, and that is Morocco. He's put Morocco to get out of the groups, with Croatia being third. And you know what? Someone has to back Morocco, and I'm happy that he did that. Morocco coming second, and that he put England in the final and Uruguay in the semis. Uruguay also showing up, so big up to them. Peter Crouch time now. Yes, he is a content creator. He has his own podcast. If you're asking where's Ben Foster, he's not done his predictions as far as I'm aware. I presume he may literally upload it the day before the World Cup starts. So I do apologise, I may have missed down his. Peter Crouch, he has gone for quite a safe prediction for the groups, and he put France in a final with Portugal in the semi-finals, and USA going through out of Group B, and Mexico going through out of Group C. And then last but not least, the totally serious prediction here by iShowSpeed. It took him literally 1 minute to make these predictions, so I don't know if it's got many thoughts behind it, but yeah, he put Argentina bottom of their group with Poland winning it, and Saudi Arabia. His pronunciations of these teams are very much interesting, but I'm pretty sure these are teams that he meant. And somehow even in a prediction which is completely just kind of random, he still put England top, which is incredible. Yeah, he put Germany and Spain going through, Canada to go through, and Belgium being knocked out. So big up to a bit of an out there shout by him. France top with Denmark second. Portugal, of course, top of the group, of course, and he didn't make his predictions for who will win it, but I think we can fair to say that he's going to say Portugal. So there you go. So that means that Group A looks like this. So out of 20 different YouTubers predicting the group stage, Netherlands went through 20 out of 20 times, with 18 times being top of the group, and of course 2 times being second place, which I would say is surprising to be 20 out of 20. I thought maybe at least someone would say that they may not make it through, but hey, everyone backs the Dutch, of course. And then Ecuador, with only 5 times predict to go through the group stage, with Senegal going through 15 times. It's time for Group B now, the big one, and I love this group because it's got such a wide range of different predictions for different teams. So 19 out of 20 times did people think that England will make it out of their group into round of 16. Only one person thought that they would not make it through. Macwell is the only person that thought that England would not make out the groups. Good luck at that one, pal. 17 times topping the group, with Iran topping it as well. 3 times, may I say. So, Iran, you've got some supporters, including myself. But only 4 times did people think that they'll make it out. So, weirdly enough, people think that if they are going to go through, it's by winning the entire thing, which is interesting. And then between USA and Wales, 9 times. People thought they'd be qualified as well. So, USA and Wales, very tight here. People kind of just swap, between USA and Wales, and sometimes you may see Iran to be winning the entire thing. It's a really weird group. Group C is also quite a classic group, where you got one obvious winner and you got 2 which are very hard to judge, and it's just kind of your own personal judgment. So Argentina 19 times out of 20 that people think they'll be qualified. The only person not thinking that is, of course, Speed. So, of course, it doesn't really mean much, but that is the way that the cookie crumbles. And then it was really only between Mexico and Poland to go through the groups in second place, and people went for Poland more often than Mexico. 13 times for Poland, 7 times for Mexico. So, Poland just edging it with people's thoughts so far. And Saudi Arabia, sadly, everyone thought that they'll be bottom of the group. 19 times out of 20 did people think that they would be dead last. And again, the only person that backed them to go through is Speed. So, good on you, Speed, lad. At least someone backs the Saudis. Now, Group D is, surprisingly enough, Denmark. Denmark is the chosen team to go through of the groups the most times. Out of them and France, 19 times for Denmark, 16 times for France. Therefore, 4 people think that they'll get grouped, which I am, of course, one of them. But weirdly enough, even though so many people think that Denmark will go through ahead of France, that France were chosen to be top of the group more times than Denmark, 11 times. Between Australia and Tunisia, Australia just edges them by 1. 3 times did people think they'll go through of the groups, and Tunisia is only 2 times as well. And I'm happy to say that I am one of them that thinks that Tunisia can make it through, so that makes me different, I guess. Up next is Group E, in which it is very, very basic. A lot of people just went for Spain or Germany, and Spain is 20 out of 20 and Germany is 18 out of 20. That may be quite surprising. Japan having 2 people think that they'll go through, and Costa Rica sadly with 0. Sadly, when it comes to Costa Rica, 18 people out of 20 thought that they'll be dead last. In terms of who will top the group, 13 people think that it'd be Spain, and 7 people think that it'd be Germany, with Japan being third place 16 out of 20 times. Now it is time for Group F, which Belgium and Croatia leads the pack. But there is definitely some judgment in terms of who else can maybe have a good World Cup. 3 times for both Canada and Morocco did people think that they get through of the groups. Belgium 19 times out of 20 and Croatia 15 times out of 20 as well, with 5 times people think that Croatia will be top and 14 times people think that Belgium would be also top as well. And with Canada, people think that they'll be bottom, dead last, 15 out of 20 times. Group G, there's no surprise. Out of 20 different predictions, people think Brazil will be top of the group 20 times. 100% record. Not a single doubt is given to Brazil. They all think that they're going to completely just walk through it, which is fair, I say. But one thing that is really surprising is how many times people went for Serbia. 16 times did people think that they'll go through of the groups. Only 3 for Switzerland and only once for Cameroon. The only person back in Cameroon is, of course, the What's Good podcast. And on to the last group here. Not much to really say. Every single person thinks that Portugal will go through, and everyone else but one thinks that Uruguay will go through. But one thing that is interesting to highlight is the fact that more people think that Uruguay will top the group than Portugal. 11 for Uruguay and 9 for Portugal. Only one person has backed Ghana to get out of the group, and I gotta double check who that was. It was Speed. So take that as you will, boys. Now, I find this really interesting here, and this is the predictions for the semi-finalists here. And we've got a wide range of teams here that people think could go to the semis. So the most popular nation is, of course, Argentina, with 8 times they have made it to the semi-finals. Well, knocked out at the semis, may I say. So this is when they were knocked out of the tournament. Brazil being 6, because mainly it was always between Brazil or Argentina to make it through. Very rarely did it really steer away from that path, because they are very much the 2 favourites for the entire tournament. And in terms of the other semi-finalists, the main popular ones are Denmark with 4, which people may be quite surprised by, but people really do back Denmark to go far in this tournament. Denmark with 4. Portugal with 3, and with 2 times is England, Serbia, and Uruguay. So quite a lot of people are backing Serbia and Uruguay to go quite far. And then with only 1 semi-final appearance is Netherlands, Spain, Cameroon. You can thank What's Good podcast for that. Germany and Belgium. So yeah, I gotta say, Denmark is seen as quite a big favourite to go quite far in the tournament. For the runners-up, the teams to go all the way to the final, but to be defeated right at the death. We have got one nation that didn't even show up once in the semis, but showed up to the final 5 times. And it is France. France, with 5 runners-up medals. With England, with 4 runners-up medals. 4 people thought that they'll go all the way to the final. And Portugal with 2 as well. And then with only 1 World Cup final appearance and being knocked out in the final is Brazil, Croatia, Denmark, Spain, and Serbia. Thank Danny Aarons for the Serbia shout. Spain is quite a interesting one, I must say. And also it is quite surprising to say the fact that there's no Argentina in here as well. Because if Argentina is going to make it all the way to the final, then they are going to win. Same thing pretty much for Brazil. We've got 9 final appearances for Brazil and 7 for Argentina, with Brazil winning 8 out of 9 and Argentina winning all their finals. With, of course, thank you Stuntspeg for making it at least a bit interesting, with Germany with 1 only. Literally, it's just Brazil and Argentina. Do you think that this is justified? Do you think that it should be this dominant for Brazil and Argentina in all these predictions? Should there be a little bit more of just some sort of variety? Do you think that these 2 teams are really blown out of proportion in terms of how good they really are? Or do you think that this is fair? But yes, Brazil with 8 times to win the World Cup out of all these YouTubers' predictions. Argentina with 7, and Germany, Stuntpeg with 1, which is a very out there one, because Germany only showed up in the semi-finals once. Didn't show up in any runners-up and only showed up in final once, and they won the entire thing. quite an out there shout, I may say. Of course, tell me your thoughts down below. How solid do you think these predictions really are? Of course, these are 20 different people, 20 different minds, okay? And a lot of people agree with the same thing. Do you think that they are just copying one another? Do you think they're not really saying what they really think? Do you think that people are just playing it safe to make sure that they don't get laughed at, you know? I mean, I've gone for France to get knocked out, right? So I'm kind of going out. I'm putting my body on the line here, okay? Tell me yours down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys another time for another video. And stay safe.